Is it just me, or is anybody else wondering what interest does the US have in the country of Ukraine? Is Ukraine even going to join the NATO alliance? Questions. Yeah, happy hump day. It's your boy Just Willie B. I just wanted to jump in really quickly and share a few talking points that I have discovered as I am working on a research paper for my communications class, and some talking points that I found pretty interesting. So yeah, come on in. You guys get ready. You know how we do what we do when we do what we do. Happy hump day. Let's get in. The premise of this video is starting back with the Budapest 1994 assurance treaty that the US, Russia, and a few other border countries kind of signed with Ukraine, vowing to protect their state of sovereignty. And back in 2022, we witnessed a unlawful invasion by Russia. And so what does that look like for the citizens of the United States? What I do know is Russia has no plans on giving up on Ukraine. Russia's head of state wrote formally to the US Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, to simply quote, "Ukraine will never be a standalone foreign country," end quote. So what are we doing here? We've invested billions of dollars into economic recovery. We've donated shiploads of military arsenal, artillery, machinery, you name it. And not only that, but we've also deployed troops in NATO states. So those things are all dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. And what type of dollar sign are they? Tax dollars. Your tax dollars, my tax dollars, our tax dollars. Conversations that we need to have and have clarity on. Our government, as we see it, can't even function to get a fiscal bill passed from Congress for a year to provide any type of economic stimulation for our economy. We have to have a 30-day funding, extension on the funding before our representatives can even come to a partisan agreement. And I feel like things are operating in an insane capacity, and the taxpayers are paying the cost. Literally, we're paying the cost. One of Russia's main interests in Ukraine is the fact that Ukraine supplies 80% of natural gas through pipelines routed to Russia. So unless, I don't know. 80% is a big number to just walk away from and then have to reevaluate a completely new economic plan would be hard to do, especially when you're a dictator who wants what you want and you see it no other way, Vladimir Putin, and why his influence into the US election, Donald Trump, is detrimental to our society because Putin has his own agenda with establishing a UN or EU to be exact, an EU for the border states as it relates to a new regime rising in Western Europe. Things are changing for political power, world order. And the question that I pose to our state legislators is to identify for the American public as it relates to Ukraine and the end goal. Where is the trajectory? I wanted to highlight recent research discoveries that has outlined two major areas that would hinder the reconstruction of Ukraine if we ever see a post-war time between Russia and Ukraine. And one would be labor shortage and being able to rebuild infrastructure. It's listed that there's about $6.8 billion and infrastructure damage that would need to be repaired to help mobilize the city again. And then after the city is mobilized, they need workers to come in and provide labor. And Ukraine has faced a major migration, and about 1.8% out of the 4.3 million people that have evacuated Ukraine indicate that they have no plans to return until the city is already in a flourishing economic state. That same 1.8 that indicated they will not return to a shattered economy has also filed and received asylum in various countries across the globe. Let that sink in. Are you a part of the EU? If you don't know what the EU stands for, no worries. It's a Eurasian Union. Yes, specifically catered to Western European influences, mainly nations that were part of the Soviet Union, that kind of passed away in like 1991. Not too far. 1991 was a great year, alas me. But so the billions and billions of dollars donated to the economic standing in Ukraine, my question is, has what effect today? Because if the economy is still going to be in a steady crawl without labor workers, and workers don't have any plan to return to a shattered economy, what now? What now? All the money contributed, all the resources provided, how do we account for that? Since the war has started, there's been an uncertainty about the future. And I feel like the answer is kind of simple. Right now, the US has reported there's about 300 billion, with a big B, like Big B, $1 billion in seized assets from Russia. Seized assets are things like yachts, bank accounts, mansions, stocks, all type of things that the Russian oligarchs or anybody that could be tied to the head of state, the prime minister, direct as a affiliate or supporter, you are in tandem to be subjected to the sanctions. And at this point, I feel like instead of draining our economy of the little devalued dollars that we have, let's start liquidating some of those oligarch assets and dropping that 300 billion number down to start shelling out some recovery efforts as it relates, and really start making some hard decisions, because we have debates in our chamber, the US chamber, where the Republican and Democrat parties won't sign bills because of funding or the lack of funding for Ukraine. So we really need to have a hard conversation, attend town halls, hold your city governors accountable, question about your tax dollars and where they're going. That's the point of this video, tax dollars. And with the upcoming election, if you are unsure who to vote for, as a lot of people have been disclosing that they don't know which candidate is the best, this is a good point to hatch the train on and identify, okay, who's talking and what are they talking about? Because at the end of the day, we are affected. That's it for the video. Please share your comments. I would love to continue the conversation there. This may be a part 2 video. I thank you guys for spending time with me, and I look forward to the comments. And make sure you follow me on YouTube. Just Willie B. What are we doing?